Hello, everybody. Karen Roby, Chris Matistic here for ZDNet. Chris, we've talked a couple of times about Microsoft Edge and how all of that went down a couple of months ago when they introduced that. And you were telling me about an interesting thing that happened to you when you tried to go on Microsoft Edge just recently. So what happened?
Oh, you're absolutely right, Karen. Microsoft shoved Edge down Windows users' throats. Some thought it was malware. Some were just malcontents because they didn't like that it was appearing forcibly. But of course, they should know because that's the way Microsoft does a lot of things. But who am I to besmirch them? So Edge has had a controversial entrance into the world, although it's doing quite well. And I have to say, it's a pretty good browser. I use it on occasion. I try and cling to Firefox because I live in California, so we're supposed to be righteous, So I cling to Firefox desperately, but I do use Chrome and Edge on occasion. Sometimes they run video better or whatever. I just feel like a change of browser. So there I was sitting on my sofa, minding my own business. And I wanted to watch something. It was probably a dog video or something. And so I opened Edge, and suddenly in the top right-hand corner of my screen, a message from Apple. Now, look, I'm used to getting messages from Apple in the top right-hand corner of my screen, and they say things like, you haven't backed up your laptop for 342 days, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Or there's a new update available. When would you like it? I know, we'll just give it to you when we feel like it. That kind of notification. This time it was, try the new Safari. It's fast, it's energy efficient, and I'm like, wait, did I just see an ad from Apple on my laptop? A forced app, a Microsoft style forcible act from the saints at Cupertino? Really? So that's actually what happened. So suddenly I'm staring at this thing thinking, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it literally has never happened to me before. I've never seen Apple push Safari of all things, but anything forcibly through the OS on my screen. This seemed all a little odd to me. So I found it rather, but then again, I don't know if you've noticed, Karen, because you're a Safari person, aren't you?
Good memory. I am.
Because I actually listen to what you say to me, okay? You're a Safari person, so you probably don't get these nags because you're totally faithful to Safari. Whereas we who are occasionally, I believe the technical term is promiscuous, we move around different browsers, but clearly Apple's annoyed. I think it's actually quite funny that finally it's a reflection that Edge is doing very well. It's a suggestion, I think, that Apple really is pressing much harder on all its services and little thingies that it might possibly occasionally make money from. And it's kind of laughable a little bit. I sort of chuckled a little bit that Apple feels hurt.
It sounds like their feelings have been hurt by what many would have thought, Chris, after our other conversations about Edge and the feeling people had about, they're just pushing it, down our throats, as we said. So, but quite the contrary. It sounds like people have embraced it.
I think they've embraced Edge because they've had to, because there's, they're not going to use Internet Explorer very often. So those who are stuck in Windows, look, they have a choice. They can not use Edge, they can use Chrome or whatever. But I think if you look at the numbers, Edge has done better than I suspect even Microsoft thought it would. And I think one of the reasons, like I said, it's quite clear, it's a pretty good browser. But the fact that Apple now, I don't know whether you've noticed on your iPhone, for example, this isn't an isolated thing. Apple has started to push its services much harder. So on my phone, I suddenly get alerts, which I've definitely not signed up for, about Apple TV Plus and some new show that I'm never going to watch. Because I only watch Ted Lasso, as you know. Because my friends are in it, and I'm not going to not watch Ted Lasso. It's a very good show. But when your friends are in a show, you definitely
do. It doesn't hurt that it's a great show.
No, it does not. I'm very grateful for that, because that would have been torture if it wasn't. But so you have this situation where Apple is definitely, I don't know about your Twitter feed. Do you ever look at your Twitter feed? I see a lot more Apple ads running through my Twitter feed. And so I think there's a push on the part of Apple to be slightly more, less than subtly aggressive
Mhm.
about pushing the elements of its services, because of course, the services business in general is where Apple is making more and more money.
Yep. My next question would be, why are you surprised by this? But we shouldn't be, right? I mean, that's where it's going. Subscription services, all of that.
It's true, but I'm surprised because I've never seen an ad in the, now, Apple suddenly screaming at me going, what are you doing?
You
It
do.
actually made me open up Safari to see whether the reason I didn't use Safari before is still valid. And it is. I don't find Safari particularly attractive. The narrow bar at the top just puts me off. I don't find it a particularly aesthetically pleasing piece of software. So I hardly ever use it.
Right.
And it makes me a criminal in Cupertino's eyes because, of course, I have a MacBook Air, I have an iPhone, and I have an iPad.
Yes.
It's what am I doing?
What
But no, sometimes it just doesn't work for you. And in this particular case, I'm sorry, Apple. It really, Tim, I'm really sorry. Please don't get mad. Please don't send me any more of those notifications because it's kind of annoying that you think I'm doing something wrong. I'm not, honest.
No, you have enough of the products, right? You've got, like you said, the laptop, the phones. I mean, that is, and you write about it and talk about it a lot too.
I try.
You do. Yeah. So, but just one more thing, Chris, as far as, how people are feeling, that their lives are just, and maybe it just is what it is, that how we are being watched and tracked and all of this. And now getting these, I mean, it's just one more step in that we've unfortunately become really accustomed to, right?
You're right, except I think it's fair to point out, Apple is the one that's always talking about our privacy, right? It's saying privacy is a human right. It's saying we are the only company that respects privacy, whereas the likes of Google and Facebook, they are dirt on our shoes when it comes to privacy. I don't think they use that phrase, but so it's ironic that even though that is the case, Apple recognized I was opening Edge. I wasn't very happy. Now, who Apple was, do they have some strange person programming this? Because they don't want me behaving badly in their eyes.
Right.
Yeah, it's worth asking the question, isn't it? Because if I'm privately using Edge, leave me alone.
Right. That's what you want to be using, right? But they're on
right now. I use other ones.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, that's good though. At least you have a little variety because you know me and I don't. So maybe I should go out on a little bit more often.
Try it.
Well, and as I mentioned, of course, for all you guys out there watching, we have a good amount of articles and videos that Chris has done as well about Microsoft Edge on ZDNet, and we hope you will check them out there. Chris, as always, it's a pleasure to talk with you.
Always fun. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks for watching, everybody.